Well, Dallas fans, we've made history. That, by far, is the most humiliating loss in Cowboys playoff history. How about them Cowboys? I mean, let's just go through the list of really bad January losses for Dallas, and we can turn it back to the early 80s where they lost 3 NFC championship games in a row. But I mean, hey, even if it's on Dwight Clark's miraculous catch, or in Philadelphia with the Eagles fans chanting about how much they hate the Cowboys, at least you were one step away from the Super Bowl. We can dial it back more recently, let's say 2016, where the Cowboys were the 1 seed in the NFC playoffs and were one and done because the Packers went in there and beat them 34-31 on a late Mason Crosby field goal. But again, that was to a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers playing out of his mind in the 2016 postseason. A couple of years before that, in 2007, the Cowboys again were one and done as the top seed overall in the NFC, and the 10-6 Giants, a divisional rival, came into your house and beat you. But at least that was close. On the game's final possession, Romo is knocking on the door trying to throw into the end zone for what would have been a game-winning touchdown. This was a no-show. This was a blowout. This was a blowout wild card weekend at home against a quarterback making his first ever playoff start. How about them Cowboys? Let's start with the coaching. Mike McCarthy did not have this team ready to go at all. They were lethargic. They were dead. They couldn't respond. When they were punched, jabbed by the Packers, they just sat there and took it. Packers went up 7-0. Cowboys didn't respond. 14-0, no response. 20-0, barely a pulse. 27-0, we got to 41-16, then 48-16. Before the Cowboys even started to counterpunch. Number 2, Dak. Oh my God. There's got to be a counterpunch there from Dak Prescott. And he couldn't do anything, couldn't move the football, and then throws 2 back-breaking interceptions, nearly both returned for pick sixes. One was down to the 19-yard line and led to an immediate touchdown by the Packers. Dak's numbers are wildly inflated, over 400 yards passing. None of that mattered because this game was out of reach in the first half when Dak was at his worst. Don't be tricked by the box score on this one. Dak folded. Thirdly, the defense. Let's never bring up Micah Parsons with Lawrence Taylor ever again because I don't remember LT's Giants team ever giving up nearly 50 at home in the playoffs. This supposed elite, outstanding defensive unit got carved up by Jordan Love and the Packers offense. Every time Green Bay needed a score, they got it. Barely any resistance put up by the Cowboys D. Dan Quinn's supposed to be some great defensive coordinator, up for another head coaching job at some point, maybe the Seahawks gig. Give me a break. That defense got shredded. You'd think at the very least you could make a young quarterback guess a little bit. Make a young quarterback perhaps uncomfortable a little bit. They didn't do any of that. Jordan Love was out there looking like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in their primes. Cool, poised, everything looked so easy. Guess the test wasn't that hard playing the Cowboys defense. Home field advantage. Look at how dominant Dallas had been throughout the year at home. Where was that? A DNA of a team that absolutely collapsed when it mattered most. Who'd you beat up on at home? The Jets, the Patriots, the Giants, the Commanders. They beat the Lions based on the screw-up of the refs. Frauds. Complete frauds. Yet again. You see, every year the Cowboys insist that this is going to be different, that this year they're ready to break through. And if not this year, then when? They had the benefit of the Eagles collapsing down the stretch, handing them the division. They got the benefit of the refs screwing up the final play for the Lions as well. And due to the expanded playoff structure, now they got the last team in the playoffs as the 2 seed, and they got a young quarterback coming into their house who had never played in the postseason before. And not only did you lose, it was a bloodbath over by halftime. When Jimmy Johnson goes scorched earth at the half from the studios, you know it's a problem. Because an 80-year-old man had far more energy, far more fight than anybody actually on the Cowboys. Matching up against the Niners. The Niners? You trailed by 30 points to the Packers. The 9-8 Packers. And how about Cowboys fans looking over at the Houston Texans in their own state? Number one, Houston has a coach, a quarterback, edge rusher, 2 young wide receivers, a division crown, and a playoff victory. And how about this stat? Since 2002, when the Texans became a franchise, Houston has more playoff victories than the Cowboys. Now that's embarrassing. And yet all we do is hear from the Cowboys. All we hear is Super Bowl aspirations in Dallas. September 1st, 2023, Micah Parsons tweets, "I will be a Super Bowl champion." Parsons said in early September, "This is the best defense I've ever been on." Leighton Vander Esch says, "We have the group to do it," meaning going back to a Super Bowl for the first time since 1995. Parsons said, "My mindset is we have the best D-line in the world." After another meaningless regular season destruction of an inferior foe, this time against the Commanders, Jerry Jones publicly said, "We are certainly capable of winning the Super Bowl." Early in the season, CeeDee Lamb said he had 2 goals. First, win a ring, then become the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. On that note, APB is out. Has anybody seen CeeDee Lamb since the game kicked off? Too bad his teammates didn't listen more to J-Ron Curse, who said early in the season, "We look great on paper, but that paper doesn't block, cover, tackle, or score touchdowns." When responding to criticisms of the Cowboys, CD also said, quote, "Some experts don't know anything." Oh, CD, I think we all know this. You're never winning a Super Bowl. Because the DNA of winning big games, of matching intensity, of not putting the cart before the horse, of not talking about the Super Bowl until you've actually done it, that never, ever, ever seems to happen in Dallas. There is a lot of chirping, a lot of talking, and all of it is always so nonsensical. It's always so silly. It's always so empty. It starts with the owner, and then it filters down to a locker room and a coaching staff that always assumes it's going to get fit for a Super Bowl ring just because they've got a star on the helmet, without remembering that 30 years of evidence remains. The Cowboys, they ain't it. No team has ever won 12 or more games, 3 straight seasons, and failed to get out of the divisional round. Until this squad. How about them Cowboys? Another year, another debacle. Except this one is more humiliating than any of the ones in the past. And that's saying something. Because this was the first round of the playoffs with a home game against a first-time starting quarterback in the playoffs. Your elite defense nearly gave up 50, and it was over at halftime. The only thing that could have made this better was more crowd shots, more luxury suite shots of the anguish on Jerry Jones's face. Because if the Cowboys were leading 48-16, you know the cameras would have had him high-fiving, hugging, dancing, celebrating. But down by that much, oh no. We let Jerry hide. Show him. Show that face. Show the pain. Every time you guys talk, we're forced to listen. When somebody shuts you up, we'd like to see that as well. How about them Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys are like Uncle Rico, promising us that they could really throw that football over them mountains over there. Sure, Uncle Rico. For more videos like this, subscribe by clicking on this button right here. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you watching.